أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and welcome to our class today. I hope and pray that you are all doing very well and keeping safe. Please make sure that you are following the classroom rules and etiquette by making sure that you are logged in with the correct ID. Your videos should remain off throughout the class. Heads should be covered, and please make sure that you are sitting in a nice and quiet place. Okay, and just a quick announcement before we carry on with the rest of our class, and this is for parents and students. For tomorrow's class, the procedure for entering the classroom will be slightly different to how you entered today. So the meeting ID, the password, and the student ID that you enter the classroom with will all remain the same. Okay, so nothing in that has changed. However, there will be one extra thing that we will require you to do for tomorrow's class. And that is that when you enter the classroom and you write in your details, you will be asked to provide your email address as well for tomorrow's class. Okay. So we please request you that the email address you enter should be the same email address that you registered with us when you applied for this online course. Okay, so in tomorrow's class, when you enter the classroom and you write in all your details, you will be asked to write in your email address as well. And please ensure that this is the same email address that you registered with us when you applied for this course. It's really important that it's the same email address. And if you are unsure of what that email address is, then you please feel free to email us on our email address, which is ukquranclass@gmail.com, or you can ask us personally what that email address was, and we will let you know so that you can log in tomorrow using that email address. Jazakumullah. So the agenda for today's class should be coming up on your screens now, and we will be starting off with our opening dua as usual. Then we will move on to looking at the rule in focus for today's class, which is Noon Sakin, clear pronunciation. We will then move on to looking at our practice text, which is the same as we have been looking at this week, and we will carry on from where we left off yesterday. We will then take a slight break to look at our letter of the day, coming back to our practice text after that, and ending our class with the normal procedure of assigning homework and the end dua. Okay, so let's start with our starting and opening dua for today's class. And if I could please have a student on the mic.
G2 226.
Jazakumullah. G2 226. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing?
Good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. So you've been chosen to recite the opening dua, which is highlighted on your screen in front of you. So I would like you to please repeat after me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent, well done. Allahumma inni
Allahumma inni
as'aluka
as'aluka
ilman nafi'a.
ilman nafi'a.
Excellent. And can you do it all together now?
Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a.
Good, excellent, well done. And are you okay to read the translation for me now, please?
O Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge.
Excellent, well done. And the source for this hadith is Ibn Majah, and this is hadith number 925. Excellent, well done. Jazakumullah for your participation.
Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we will now move on to our rule in focus for today's class. And as you saw in the agenda, the rule in focus for today's class is Noon Sakin, clear pronunciation. Okay? And to help us with this rule and to understand it better, you have two examples in front of you, and both these examples are found in the Holy Quran. Okay? Now, the first box that has appeared on your screen has an arrow attached to it, and it's pointing at the letter Ain. Okay? And this letter Ain is a voweled letter. Okay, in English, it is called a voweled letter. And you've heard of this term this week. So you learned it on Monday and Tuesday, you looked at it. Voweled letter is a letter carrying a stroke. Okay, so that stroke, it can be anything. In this case, it's a fatha. Okay, but a kasra is also a stroke. Dhamma is also a stroke. And the vertical stroke, so vertical fatha, vertical kasra, inverted dhamma, these are all types of strokes. Okay, so any letter with a stroke on it is called a voweled letter. Okay, now the next thing I want to bring your attention to is what a sakin letter is. Okay, and a sakin letter is pointed at in this on this page, and you can see that the letter ra is pointed at because it's a sakin letter in this example. Okay, letter ra with the sukoon on top of it, that is why this is a sakin letter. Okay, sakin letter is a letter carrying a sukoon. Okay, now the next two arrows, as you can see, they are pointing to a noon sakin. Okay, now in both of these cases, it is a noon sakin because it is the letter noon and it has a sukoon on it. Okay, noon with a sukoon on it is called a noon sakin. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. Let's carry on. Now a noon sakin, so we've just learned a noon sakin is the letter noon with a sukoon on it. A noon sakin will make a nasal sound. Okay, nasal sound is a sound that we make from our nose. Okay, now but what's important in this case is that the next letter after a noon sakin decides what nasal sound to make. Okay, so yes, we have to make a nasal sound, but we have to decide what type of nasal sound it is that we have to make. Okay, so for that, we have to look at the next letter. So whenever you see a noon sakin appear in the Holy Quran, what you have to do is you have to look at the next letter. Okay, so this is something that we have been looking at previously. So this is something that should be very, you should be able to understand that you have to look at the next letter after a noon sakin in order to realize and make the correct sound. Okay, now this is a grid with 7 letters in it. Okay, and in the middle of it, it says letters of the throat. Okay, now before we move on, I just want to reiterate that videos should remain off. Okay, it's very distracting for myself as a teacher, but also for other students when cameras pop up and we can see your screen and your videos. Okay, so please make sure that you do not turn your videos on even by mistake. Okay, Jazakumullah. So this grid has letters of the throat. There are 7 letters, and we've been going through these letters in last week's classes, and you also looked at this grid on Monday's class. Okay. Now, as I said, whenever you see a noon sakin, we have to look at the next letter. If the next letter after noon sakin is a letter of the throat, i.e. any of these 7 letters, we must make a clear noon sound. Okay, and we must not prolong the nasal sound that we are making. Okay, so it has to be a clear nasal noon sound without a prolonged nasal sound. Okay, so we will now move on to having a look at some examples from the Holy Quran in order to practice this rule, and it should make things a bit more a bit more clearer. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples from the Holy Quran. Okay, so the rule is still here. If the next letter after Noon Sakin is a letter of the throat, we must make a clear Noon sound. Okay, and these are 6 examples from the Holy Quran where this rule in focus for today's class is being applied, and we must pronounce it correctly. Okay, so discipline in charge, if I could please have a student on the mic to go through these examples with.
G2 223.
Jazakumullah. G2 223. Assalamu alaikum. G2 223. Can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, so the rule that I've just gone through, does it make sense? Are you understanding it?
Yes.
All right, great, perfect. Okay, so let's have a look at this first example from the Holy Quran. Okay, now the first thing we must do is we must notice and highlight where the Noon Sakin is. Okay, can you tell me where the Noon
Okay.
Sakin is over here?
After the meme.
Yes, after this first meme, yes? So we have
Yes.
Noon Sakin, and we've been helped because it's been already highlighted in blue for us, okay? So this is Noon Sakin because it's a Noon with a Sukoon on top of it, okay?
Okay.
Now, what's the first thing we must do? We must look at the next letter after the Noon Sakin. And what letter comes after the Noon Sakin? Can you tell me?
Alif.
Alif, yes, excellent, well done. Now the next question we must ask ourselves is Alif a letter of the throat?
No.
No? Okay, let's go back to the grid in which it says all the letters of the throat. Okay, so can you spot Alif in there?
Yes.
Yeah, Alif is in there, okay? So that means that Alif is a letter of the throat, which means that in this case as well, Alif is one of the letters of the throat, so which means that we have to make a clear nasal, clear Noon sound when we join this meme to this Noon, okay? So we're going to pronounce this as Man Excellent, well done. So what we mean, the wrong way of pronouncing this would be man. Okay, so that's wrong. So that's something we mustn't do. You must have heard that I made a really long nasal sound, and that's something we shouldn't do if the letter after the Noon Sakin is a letter of the throat, or one of the 7 letters that we've had a look at previously. Okay, so that means we're making a clear nasal sound, clear Noon sound. Okay, so this whole word would be man amana.
Man amana.
Excellent, well done, really good. Now let's have a look at the next example. So over here we can see that the Noon Sakin is over here. Okay, so the Noon Sakin is here. So what we must do is we must look at the next letter after Noon Sakin. Can you tell me what the next letter after Noon Sakin is?
Hamza.
Hamza, yes, excellent. So Hamza is the next letter. And is Hamza one of the throat letters?
I think yes.
Yes, well done. Let's go back. Hamza is one of the throat letters. Okay, so whenever I say is that a letter of the throat or a throat letter, then it means is it one of these 7 letters highlighted in this grid? Okay, so yes, Hamza is one of the throat letters or letters of the throat. Okay, which means we have to make a clear nasal sound when we're joining the ya to the noon. Okay, yan, auna.
Yan ona.
Excellent, well done. I know it doesn't have a stroke on the noon, and that's just a defect in the printing. So this has a fatha on top. Okay, yan auna.
Yan ona.
Excellent, well done. So everybody, please notice how I'm making a clear noon sound, not prolonging it or anything like that. Okay, let's carry on to the next example. Over here, we can see Noon Sakin is over here. We must look at the next letter, which is the letter Ha. And is letter Ha one of the throat letters?
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Well done. It is. So we're going to pronounce this with a clear Noon sound. In هذا.
In هذا.
Excellent. Well done. Let's carry on. Noon sakin is over here. And the next letter is?
Ha.
Excellent. And ha, like we saw, is one of the throat letters. So we're going to again pronounce this noon with a clear noon sound, okay? Yanha.
Yanha.
Excellent. Well done. Really good. Let's carry on. Over here, noon sakin is over here. The next letter is?
Ein.
Ain. Excellent. Now is the letter Ain one of the letters of the throat?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. Let's go back. Ain over here. Okay, that's one of the throat letters. So we are going to pronounce this noon with a clear noon sound. Min alaqin.
Min alaqin.
Excellent. Well done. So we're not lingering on the noon sound or anything. We're not staying on the noon sound for too long. Simply saying it and carrying on with the rest of the word. Okay. Let's
Okay.
carry on. Noon sakin again is highlighted over there. The next letter is, can you tell me?
Ein.
Excellent. Well done. So it does look slightly different to what it looked over here, but this is still an ain. And the ain, as we saw, is one of the letters of the throat. So we are going to pronounce this noon with a clear noon sound. An'amta.
An'amta.
Well done. Excellent. And again over here, there is a fatha on top of this ta. Okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. G2223. Jazakumullah for your participation.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. So that was the rule in focus for today's class, in which we're looking at noon sakin clear pronunciation. And we've just gone through a couple of examples from the Holy Quran. And what we're going to do now is we are going to go on to our practice text for today's class. And we are still continuing with the same surah that we started on Monday, Surah An-Nazi'at. And we are going to start from where we left off yesterday. So we are starting from verse number 27. The same format of recitation will apply. I will recite, we will have a student on the mic, and I will ask you to repeat after me. Okay, and before reciting, we must remember to read at-Tawud and Tasmiyah, and I want you all to say the Tawud and Tasmiyah nice and slowly with a nice melody, okay? Nice and slowly as you are reading the rest of the verses as well. Okay, so if you can please have our first student on the mic to read our practice text with us.
G2 205.
G2 205, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you today?
I'm good.
Fine.
I am fine. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. That's really good to hear. Okay, so as I said, we are going to start with our practice text, carrying on from where we left off yesterday. Okay, which is from here. Okay, so where I've highlighted the alif, this is where we're going to start from. And before I read, I'm going to just point out a few things. We have to take care of all the rules that we've learnt so far. So we have to remember our short strokes. So you can see over here, we have all these short strokes that we have to keep in mind as we read. Okay, these are just a few examples. We also have to keep in mind our long strokes. So you can see there is a vertical fatha on the dal. And we have a mad letter over here, ya mad, because it's a ya sakin, and the letter before has a kasra. Okay, so we have to elongate that sound out for 2 seconds. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to read and then I will ask you to repeat after me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Yeah, let me just read first and then I will ask you to repeat after me, okay? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna fi dhalika la'ibratan liman yakhsha. Okay, so I've just read that for you once, and I want you to now start yourself with Tawud and Tasmiyah nice and slowly and start from here.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن في ذلك لعبرة لمن يخشى.
Okay, good. Well done. Really good effort, mashallah. Okay, so just one thing, one or two things I want you to be careful of. Over here, as I pointed out, this is a ya mad. Okay, ya mad. You looked at this last week on Wednesday, and you looked at the fact that whenever you have ya mad, a ya sakin, and the letter before it has a kasra, we must stretch that sound out for 2 seconds. Okay, so we're going to say إن في. Excellent. Well done. And then remember your short strokes as well. Okay. So if something has a simple fatha, like this ra over here, then we mustn't elongate for more than 1 second. Okay. La ibra. Excellent. Good. And one more thing over here. Can you tell me what letter this is?
Ghain.
Okay, this is similar to a ghain. You can get mistaken, but this is a kha.
Kha.
Yes, kha. So that's why we must make that sound. Okay, so this will be pronounced as man yakhsha.
Man yakhsha.
Okay, try and make that kh sound. Okay, man yakhsha.
Man yakhsha.
Good, well done. Okay, difficult sound to make, but with practice, inshallah, you will get better. Okay, so just remember that this is a kha, not a ghain. Okay, that's a separate, different letter that we have to be careful of. Okay, okay, let's just stay on the mic with me, and we're going to do the next next verse as well. Okay, now in this verse again, be careful of the short strokes. So you can see short stroke over here, then we have another short stroke over here. So these are things that we need to be careful of. We also have a really long stroke that we need to be careful over here. This is Madul Kabir, which means we have to elongate for at least 5 seconds. Okay, so a really long stretch that we have to do. So we have to take a really long breath. Okay, there is also a place over here that we can take a pause. So we will take a pause over here before carrying on with the rest of the verse. Okay, we have a long stroke over here of vertical fatha, so we have to make sure that we're elongating over here for 2 seconds, and then of course at the end of the verse we have to apply our pause rules that we will go into more detail as the classes progress. Okay, so let me go and start from here. And actually one more thing as well I want you to take care of as well over here. On top of this qaf, you can see we have a tanween. Okay, now you covered this rule on Monday's class, so I hope you've been revising. On Monday's class, the rule was that whenever you have a tanween, again, just like we looked at today, we must look at the next letter. Okay, and if the next letter after tanween is either of those 7 letters of the throat that we looked at in today's class as well, then we must make a clear sound, and we mustn't elongate the pronunciation of the tanween. Okay, so this, for example, would be qan'a. Okay, so we're not going to say qan'a. We're simply going to say qan'a. Okay, so that's something we're going to be looking at as well as we go through the verse. Okay, so please repeat after me. أأنتم أشد خلقا أم السماء بناها. Yep, can you start from here for me?
أأنتم أشد خلقا أم السماء بناها.
Good, excellent, really good effort, mashallah. Well done. Okay, just a few things I want you to take care of. As I said over here, after this we have an alif. Okay, after this qaf with a tanween, we have an alif. And alif is one of the letters of the throat. Okay? Which means that we mustn't prolong the sound of the tanween. So we simply say qan and we move on. So we're not saying qan like we usually would, okay? So because the next letter is a letter of the throat, we have to make a clear pronunciation. So that's something we have to be careful of, okay? And another thing over here, like I said, this is Madul Kabir. So we have to take a really long breath and elongate for at least 5 seconds, which is a long time, but with practice, inshallah, it will get better, okay? But otherwise, well done. Excellent. Really nicely read. And let's do one more verse. This one. رفع سمكها فسواها.
رفع سمكها فسواها.
Good. Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. Okay, so you took care of your short strokes, which are found on majority of the letters in this verse, and also your long stroke over here on top of the vowel mushaddad. Okay, excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. Jazakumullah for your participation.
Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah. Allah Hafiz. Can we have another student on the mic, please?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah, do you want to ask your question?
So why we need to do it Madhya Kabir one English?
She just needs to ask that why we need to like elongation why we need to prolong our sound in Madhya Kabir.
Okay, that's fine. So we will cover this inshallah in future classes. At the moment, we're not going to go into too much detail. All you need to know for now is that there is a stroke that looks like this. Okay, it is called Madul Kabir, and it's an extra long elongation which we have to make sure that we elongate for 5 to 7 seconds. Okay, so for now, that's all we require you to know. But inshallah, in future classes, we will go into more detail with that. Okay.
Jazakallah.
No problem. Okay, Allah Hafiz. Let's have another student on the mic, please.
G2 107.
G2 107. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum. G2 107.
Alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
मैं ठीक हूँ आपका क्या हाल है
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to carry on. We're starting with this verse over here. And just pointing out a few rules that we have to be mindful of as we read this verse. As always, we have to remember our short stroke. So what that means is this fatha is a short stroke. Both this fatha and this fatha long stroke, short stroke, sorry, okay? And after this ha, you see that we have an alif mad because it's an alif and the letter before has a fatha. So this is a alif mad, which means an elongation of 2 seconds over here, okay? Again, 2-second elongation on the ha over here as well. And as we end the verse over here, we have to be mindful of the rules of waqf. So let me read this verse and I'd like you to repeat after me afterwards, please. وَأَغْطَشَ لَيْلَهَا وَأَخْرَجَ ضُحَاهَا. So I'd like you to start over here with Dawood and Tasmiyah nice and slowly, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Excellent.
وأغطش ليلها وأخرج زهاها.
Good, excellent, mashallah. Really happy with the way you read, okay? Just one letter that I'd like you to concentrate on a bit more is this letter over here, okay? So this is a really thick and heavy sounding letter. So we're going to say du.
Okay, du.
Okay? Yes. Duhaha.
Duhaha.
Excellent, well done. And between these two letters, there is a distinct a difference in sound. Okay, so this sound comes from the middle of the throat, so we have to really put an effort into it. Okay, so we practiced this last week as well. We're going to say ha. Okay, really with force. Okay, ha. Okay, so I want you to put a bit more force into it. Okay, so the ha sound that you make for this should be different to the sound that you make for this. Okay, so ha ha. Okay, nice. You know how you take a long and deep sigh? Okay, just like that. Okay, ha ha. Okay, good. Well done. But this needs a bit more practice, okay? So another way of looking at it is, for example, if you have glasses and you want to clean your glasses, you make a strong h sound onto them. So you're really making it from the middle of your throat, okay? So these are two very different sounds that you're making, even though they might look like they're the same sound, okay? So we have to really make that distinction. So I want you to keep practicing that after class, okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Let's carry on to the next verse now. Please repeat after me. وَالْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ دَحَاهَا.
والأرز بعد ذلك دهاها.
Good. Well done. Okay. Just pay close attention to some of the letters. Again, this is the letter dod. Okay. Same as we made over here. So this is going to be do.
Okay.
Okay. And over here, this is ain. So ba'da.
بعد
Excellent. This is ذَلِكَ.
ذلك.
Excellent. Well done. So rather than saying za, you're saying the and then stretching it, okay? And then again over here, this is a ha, this is a ha. So it's coming from different places in your throat, which might take a while for you to understand and make and practice, but like I said, the more you practice, the easier it will get, okay? So let's try that verse again, but keeping in mind everything that I just said. So start from here, please, again.
والأرز بعد ذلك دهاها.
Good, well done, okay? But still, this sound needs to be thicker and heavier. Do.
ض
والأرض
والأرض
بعد ذلك
بعد ذلك
دحاها.
دهاها.
Good, much better, okay? But inshallah, like I said, keep practicing the sounds of your letters. That's really important that you get them correct, okay? But well done. And one more verse with yourself. And I've highlighted over here this rule, and this applies to the rule that we've just learned today of clear pronunciation, okay? So what we've learned today is that whenever you see a noon sakin, we have to look at the next letter. So over here, highlighted is noon sakin. What's the next letter?
Ha.
Excellent, well done. Can you tell me, is this ha one of the letters of the throat?
Yes.
Excellent, yes. So ha is one of the letters of the throat, which means that this noon sakin will be a clear noon pronunciation, okay? So that's something this will be pronounced as minha.
منها.
Good, well done. Okay, so let's start from the beginning of this verse. أخرج منها ماءها ومرعاها.
أخرج منها ماءها ومرعاها.
Excellent, well done. But this over here, this is wamar.
Wamr.
Yes, yes, well done. Okay, so this is وَمَرْعَاهَا.
ومرعاها.
Perfect, well done. And your elongation over here, because of the Madul Kabir, was excellent. Okay, well done. Really happy with the way you're reading. But like I've been saying, just concentrate on your pronunciation of the letters and making sure that you get them correct. Okay, otherwise your timing is really good. Perfect. Jazakumullah for your participation. Allah Hafiz.
Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah. Okay, now before we move on, what we're going to do is we are going to quickly have a break and look at our letter of the day. Okay, now the letter of the day for today's class is over here. Okay, and the correct way to say this letter is as follows. Ba. Okay, I'm stretching it for 5 seconds, and that's the correct way and the correct name for this letter. But as we've been saying in our classes, if you're saying the name of the letter mid-sentence or as a casual thing, then that's absolutely fine. You can say it as ba. But if someone asks you what's the correct way of saying this letter, then you would elongate for 5 seconds as I had just done. Okay, now this letter is a letter with one dot. Okay, it has one dot and the dot is found below the line. Okay, this is the line, this below the line. The letter ba has the dot below the line. It's important to note that the letter ba can be joined onto the letter before it and to the letter after it, as we can see in the following examples. Over here, ba joins onto the next letter. Okay, and the shape of the letter ba changes slightly, and how it changes is that we take the first half of the letter and join it to the next letter. So you can see over here what the difference between this and this is that the first half of the letter has been taken and then joined onto the letter after. But the thing that stays the same is that the dot remains below the line. Okay, so you can see, follow my hand, start at the tip, go down, across, and joins onto the next letter, and the dot is found at the bottom. If the letter ba is found in the middle of two letters, it looks like this. Okay, so you start off with the first letter, it then joins onto the letter ba with a line, then you have this pointed bit at the top, coming back down again, joining onto the letter after. And again, the dot of the ba is always found at the bottom, below the line. Okay? And at the end of the word, ba looks like this. You can see it takes its original shape and it looks very much like a ba, and it actually joins onto the previous letter with a small line joining it like that. Okay, so join onto it, the previous letter, go up, across, and then up again. Dot goes at the bottom. Okay, and the way to make the sound of this letter is by joining and pressing your lips together and pressing the wet parts of your lips together. Okay, so if you concentrate on that, then you can make the correct sound of the letter ba. Okay, so this will be part of your homework to have a look at this letter again and to try and write it and trace it so that you're becoming more aware of the actual shape of the letter. Okay, so that was the letter of the day. We are now going to move on back to our surah of the day, and we are going to carry on from where we left off. If we could please have another student on the mic.
G2166.
Jazakumullah. G2166. Assalamu alaikum. G2166. Can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum. Okay, no reply from G2166. Shall we move on?
Yep, G2176.
G2176. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Is that G2176?
G.
Perfect. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Very well. Jazakumullah for asking. We're going to carry on and we're going to start from here. Okay, that's what we just left off. And in this verse over here, we have to be mindful of our short strokes. So you can see underneath the Jim, we have a kasra. This is a short stroke, so only 1 second timing will be given to this. After this, we have a ba with a fatha, followed by an alif mad. Okay, it's an alif mad because it's a blank alif and the letter before it has a fatha. So we have to stretch this sound out for 2 seconds. Okay, and on top of the scene over here, we have a vertical stroke. So again, 2 seconds has to be given over here as well. So I'm going to start from here. I've already read my Dawud and Tasmiyah, so I'm going to start straight away. وَالْجِبَالَ أَرْسَاهَا. So I'd like you to please read Dawud and Tasmiyah nice and slowly with a nice melody, and you can start from here.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والجبال أرساها.
Okay, good, excellent, well done, really, really good. Just one thing at the end over here, the rules of pause will be discussed further with you in future classes, but for now, know that this will remain as it is when we pause, okay? So we're still going to stretch at the end for 2 seconds, okay? We're going to say arsaha.
Arsaha.
Excellent, well done. So you're giving it the same amount of time as you were giving to the scene with the vertical fatha. Okay, perfect, excellent, well done. Let's carry on to the next example now. Okay, so this next verse over here, we're starting off with a meme with a fatha. So 1 second rule applies over here. Over here we have an alif mad because the letter before has a fatha. So 2 seconds should be given over here. Carrying on, I've highlighted this noon sakin because the rule of the day applies over here. Whenever we see a noon sakin, we must look at the next letter after it. Okay? Can you tell me what the letter after noon sakin is over here?
Ein.
Excellent. Well done. It's an ayn. Okay, now can you tell me, is ayn one of the letters of the throat?
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Well done. It is. So that means that we have to make a clear noon sound when we join the alif to the noon. Okay, so this is going to be pronounced as an-a.
An.
Good, well done, excellent. Okay, so let's start from this verse over here. متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم.
متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم.
Excellent, well done, perfect, really nice you read, but try and make this ayn sound. Okay, متاعا لكم.
متاعا لكم
Excellent. ولأنعامكم.
ولأنعامكم.
عامكم.
آمكم.
Good, well done. So Ain is one of the harder letters to pronounce, I must admit, but with practice, it will get easier, okay? So can you try this verse one more time?
متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم.
Perfect, really good effort, mashallah, well done. Let's carry on to the next. Yeah?
Miss, can my brother have a ton?
Is your brother part of the G2 course?
Yes, but we just have to share the ID.
Okay, what's your brother's ID?
We have the same ID.
You have the same ID?
Yeah.
You should have been issued with 2 different IDs if your brother is also part of the course. So you're sure your brother was signed up to the course, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Then he can read the last verse, okay?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent, well done. So what I'll do is I will read the verse first, okay? And then I'd like you to repeat after me, okay? Now in this verse over here, we have to again remember our short strokes. So fatha over here And then after this dal, we have an alif mud. Okay, it's an alif mud because the letter before it has a fatha. So that means we have to stretch for 2 seconds. Okay, now after that, we also have this stroke and this stroke, which are the same strokes. We have looked at it previously as well. Alif madul kabir, which means we have to stretch both of those for at least 5 seconds. Okay, so we really have to take a nice and deep breath as we say them. Okay, so I'm going to start and I'd like you to repeat after me. فَإِذَا جَاءَتِ الطَّامَّةُ الْكُبْرَى. Okay, so nice and long, deep breath, and it's okay if you need to take a pause in the middle, okay?
فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى.
Good, excellent, mashallah, well done. A difficult verse to read because of the really long strokes, but mashallah, you read really well, okay? So mashallah, you gave this one exactly more than 5 seconds, but this one slightly less, and I can understand why, because of course it's difficult with your taking such a deep breath, but mashallah, you did really well. So over here, for everybody else listening as well, we joined this ta to this ta over here, okay? And we stretched for 5 seconds, and then at the end we made sure to join it to the mim mushaddad at the end. Okay, so we said tittamma. Okay, so really deep long breath, but not forgetting to at the end join the mim mushaddad at the end as well. Okay, excellent. At the end over here, just make sure you're only elongating for about 2 seconds, no longer than that. Okay, because of the vertical fatha. Otherwise, well done, mashallah, really nicely read. Jazakumullah for your help.
Jazakallah, miss.
Jazakumullah. Okay, let's have Allah Hafiz. Let's have another student on the mic, please.
G2142.
Jazakumullah. G2142. Assalamu alaikum. G2142. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? G2142. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, shall we move on to another student, please?
G2241.
G2241. Assalamu alaikum.
No.
G2241. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Okay, let's move on.
G2112.
G2112. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Is that G2112?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So just a reminder to everybody as well, please make sure that you're seated somewhere with your device and ready to accept the unmute request as soon as you are called to the mic, because that will mean that you miss your turn and we may not have time to come back to you. So please do, as soon as you hear your ID being called out, accept the request to unmute. Okay. Okay, well done. And let's carry on with our recitation. So we stopped over here. So we're going to start from here. Okay. So I'm going to read the verse and we're going to take care of the rules as they come. We can see that we have some short strokes over here. Fathas, so we have to take care. We're only giving these 1 second each. Okay, now over here, you can see that we have to join the ra to the lam straight away, ignoring this alif in the middle. And inshallah, in future classes, we will explain why that is. Okay, over here, we also have alif mud, which means that we have to give it a timing of 2 seconds. And of course, at the end, we'll be pausing over here, applying the rules of pause, which we will be focusing on later in future classes. So we're starting from here. Please repeat after me. يَوْمَ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ مَا سَعَى. So Tawud and Tasmiyah first, please, nice and slowly. G2 112, are you still on mic? Discipline in charge, is she still unmuted?
She sent another request.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Is that G2 112?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. We lost you for a bit. So did you hear me read this verse?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to start with Dawood and Tasmiya nice and slowly and start from here.
Shaitanir Rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yawma yatazakkarul insanu ma sa'a.
Excellent. Well done, mashallah. Really nicely read. Your voice keeps on fading away though. So there's parts of your recitation that I couldn't listen to really carefully, but I still heard you. And you read really nicely, okay? So just one thing over here, which I can see why you were mistaken. This at the top, I think it's just an error in printing. So please don't think that this is a vertical fatha, okay? This is just a random line. So don't this is not a stroke. The actual stroke on the ta is the fatha. Okay, so that's what we're going to be pronouncing. We're going to say yatadhakkarul.
Yatazakkaru.
Rul.
Rule.
Yes, well done. Excellent, mashallah. And over here, just follow my lead as I say it. Okay, you will be explained later on why we are pronouncing it like that. But for now, just follow my lead, okay? Insanu.
Insanu.
Okay, good. Well done. It's a partial nasal sound that we're making, okay? Holding in our nose for about 2 seconds. Insanu.
Insanu.
Good. Well done. Do you want to read the whole verse again for me now, please?
Yawma yatazakkarul insanu ma sa'a.
Excellent. Well done. Mashallah. Really, really nicely read. Really happy with the way you read. Over here, just remember that this sound is dhakka.
Zakka.
Yes. So rather than saying zakka, you're saying dhakka.
Zakka.
Yeah, you're touching the tip of your tongue to your top teeth. Okay, so to the back of your top teeth. Dhakka.
Zakka.
Good, well done. Okay, let's carry on to the next verse now. And the next verse I'd like you to repeat after me, please. وَبُرِّزَتِ الْجَحِيمُ لِمَنْ يَرَى.
وبرزت الجحيم لمن يرى.
Good, excellent, mashallah, well done. Just one thing over here. This letter is the letter H. Okay, so really nice deep breath when you say this. Okay, so we're just practicing the name of the letter at the moment. Okay, we're saying H.
Ha.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to say Himu.
Himu.
Excellent, mashallah. And then over here we're going to say Mayyara.
Mayara.
Good, well done. Okay, so rather than saying Mayyara, we're holding that nasal sound in our nose for about 2 seconds when we're joining to the ya. Okay, Mayyara.
Mayara.
Good, excellent, mashallah. Well done, really nicely read. And do this verse one more time for me, please.
فبرزت الجحيم لمن يرى.
Excellent. Mashallah. Well done. Really happy with the way you read and you took on board everything that I said to you, which is a really good thing, okay? Well done. Keep practicing and the more you practice, inshallah, the better you will get.
Sorry to disturb, but see, like I don't know how many days, but I miss Quran class because I was sometimes outside to go somewhere else's house.
Okay. Okay, so you missed some of the classes.
Yeah.
Okay, not to worry. They are available to rewatch on YouTube. Okay, so if you go to YouTube and you write G2 Quran class and the Tahsinul-Quran UK, I believe it's called, that's the YouTube channel, but we will confirm that and I will ask tomorrow's teacher to bring that to your attention tomorrow as well. But there is a YouTube channel that you can go to and rewatch all the lessons, okay? So if you've missed anything, they will be available to rewatch. Okay, so you can write in the date and of the classes that you've missed and you can rewatch them. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. But I will ask tomorrow, I will ask tomorrow's teacher to tell you exactly what the name of the YouTube channel is so that you can write that down and keep a note of it. Okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Jazakumullah for your participation.
Jazakallah.
So that's where we're going to leave it today. So in today's class, we've managed to cover 10 verses. So we've done from verse number 27 down to 37. And now I'm going to set you your homework. So the homework for today's class is to practice Surah An-Naziyat. And that's the surah that we have been covering this week. And like I said, the verses that we covered in today's class were verses 27 to 37. And as you are going through the verses, of course, be mindful of all the rules that you have learnt so far, but especially look out for the noon sakin followed by throat letter rule that we've just covered in today's class, okay? So the rule in focus for today's class was noon sakin, pronouncing it with a clear pronunciation, and we looked at when we know to pronounce it with a clear pronunciation, okay? And also remember, keep looking at the grid with the throat letters of the throat. If I can just remind you again of those letters of the throat. Ghain, Kha, Ain, Ha, Alif, Hamza, and Ha. These are the 7 letters of the throat that you need to really memorize and it will make things easier for you, okay? So that's the homework that you should have done previously as well, but it's good to keep a revision on that. And the second part to your homework is to learn the letter of the day, which was the letter Ba. So I would like you to please practice it, practice writing it, or you can trace it with your fingers. And you can use the PDF that's you will be provided with, or you can look in the Tahsinul-Quran book, page 37 to 39, to have a look at that letter and be able to trace it with your fingers or write it on a piece of paper, okay? So that's the 2 pieces of homework. Practice the verses we've done today and look at the letter of the day, which was the letter Ba. Okay, so that's your homework. It will be shared with you on the WhatsApp group. And before we end the class with the dua, I'd also like to quickly remind you of the announcement that was made as well in the beginning of the class. So please make sure that in tomorrow's class, when you log in, you will be asked to log in with your email address as well. So with that email address, we would please like you to log in with the email address that you registered with us when you signed up to this online course. And if you have any questions, you can always contact us using the contact details that have been provided. So we will end the class with a prayer after reciting the Holy Quran. If I could please have a student on the mic.
G2213.
Jazakumullah. G2213, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Did you understand the rules and everything we learnt today?
Yeah.
Perfect, great. Okay, so we're going to start from here and I'd like you to repeat after me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay. Allahumma arhamni bil-Qur'anil azim.
Allahumma arhamni bil-Qur'an al-Azim.
Good, well done. This is nil. Yeah, noon has a kasra. So we're saying nil azim.
Al-Azim.
Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read, mashallah. Jazakumullah for your participation in today's class. And jazakumullah to everybody who has logged in for today's class. And inshallah, we'll all speak to you tomorrow, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.